Cyber Dragon Infinity from Breakers of Shadow is one of the strongest Xyz monsters around, but the challenge that duelists are finding is how do I summon this monster? Its stated materials are 3 level 6 light machine type monsters, and let me tell you, those are extremely difficult to come by. In fact, in terms of main deck monsters, there are only 3 of them, which is Consular Antares, UFO-Roid, and Cyber Barrier Dragon. I don't think I've ever seen more than one of those in a single duel, and I think the most number I've seen together is 2 copies of UFO-Roid. The rest of the level 6 light machine monsters are all extra deck monsters, things like Powered Insectron and the XY, YZ, and XZ Dragon/Tank Cannons that Kaiba used back in the original series. So, with all of that out, the method of summoning Cyber Dragon Infinity will be by using its own secondary effect, which is to use Cyber Dragon Nova from the Cyber Dragon Revolution structure deck as its materials. It's a lot easier to get 2 level 5 machine type monsters on the field than it is 3 level 6 light machine type monsters, so this is the avenue that we're going to attack to try to summon Cyber Dragon Infinity. Now, it's actually pretty easy to do. Anybody can play something like Cyber Dragon, for example, a level 5 light machine, and then follow it up with Instant Fusion, which is a card that's seen to play in a lot of decks, namely to summon Elder Entity Norton. But you can also use it for the level 5 machine Panzer Dragon. It's originally in Duelist Alliance. Panzer Dragon, level 5 light machine, and if your play gets disrupted in some way, and Panzer Dragon winds up getting destroyed at the end of the turn, you still get some value out of it, because Panzer Dragon destroys a card on the field when it's destroyed. Some decks have an easier time summoning level 5 light machines than others. For example, Cosmo is very good at it, thanks to Cosmo Slip Rider. It's also very good at getting multiple copies of Cosmo Slip Rider by Cosmo Tin Can, or just by reusing them over and over with Cosmo Town. 2 Slip Riders can make Cyber Dragon Nova, and thus Infinity, and of course, since they are light machines, you can also use them to make Consular Pleiades, and really any other rank 5 Xyz monster you would want. The deck that most people associate with Cyber Dragon Infinity, though, is the Performapal Pendulum deck. And it's been experimenting with a lot of new and exciting ways to summon Cyber Dragon Infinity. Personally, I've actually played Slip Rider in that deck before. I've used a full complement of Slip Riders, sometimes with 1 Wicked Witch, sometimes with a Good Witch, just to have that little mini-engine in there. It's not the most consistent way to summon Cyber Dragon Infinity, but it is a lot of fun, especially when your opponent is not expecting to see any Cosmo cards when they're playing against a Pendulum deck. Sticking with the Performapal Pendulum deck, which is still the most popular deck to play Infinity in, one other way that people have been experimenting with it is with Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is originally from World Superstars. It can be special summoned by sending a light monster from your hand to the graveyard, and it can add another copy of itself or any other Galaxy card from your deck to your hand, Galaxy monster, from your deck to your hand when it is summoned. One of the easier ways to summon Galaxy Soldier is if you're playing the more heavy Draco Slayer build of the Performapal deck that uses multiple copies of Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, the light normal monster. By doing that, even if you draw too many copies of it, you can ditch one of them, summon Galaxy Soldier, get another, and then do your Pendulum summon, and eventually get that Draco Slayer back from your graveyard with the effect of one of your extra deck monsters. One other way, and actually Matt from Europe, who you might recognize from the European event coverage from time to time, he tipped me off on another card from World Superstars that you can use to get Cyber Dragon Infinity, and that is Chronomaly Neverdisk. When you normal summon Neverdisk, you get to add another Chronomaly card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this guy. So the card you want to get is Chronomaly Golden Jet from Return of the Duelist. This monster lets you increase the level of all your Chronomaly monsters that you currently control by 1. So you would normal summon Neverdisk, and then do your Pendulum summon, and use Golden Jet as one of the cards that you're Pendulum summoning. They start off as level 4 light machines. With the ability of Golden Jet, they become level 5 light machines, and again, you can get Pleiades or Cyber Dragon Nova, or basically any rank 5 that you want. I know a lot of people are pretty happy about Never Disc because it's very reminiscent of Performapal Skullcrabat Joker. It's the level 4, 1800 attack, 1 on normal summon, you get a search type monster. So a lot of people are kind of gravitating towards that. One of the newer developments, one that I was particularly pleased to see because I like the theme so much, is that people are fusing their Performapal deck with Dino-Mists. Dino-Mist, Brachion, and Rex are the two in particular that see a significant amount of play. Brachion is popular because it's another card that you can special summon from your hand, even if you haven't set up cards in your Pendulum zones yet. If you don't have a copy of this card already in a monster zone, if your opponent has the highest attack monster on the field, you can just special summon this from your hand. It's extremely useful, especially if all you need to do is summon something and then tribute it off for something else, for example, to get yourself out of the Domain of the True Monarchs lock. And when you would tribute this for another card, then it just goes to the extra deck and you can Pendulum summon it right back, along with another level 5 like Dino-Mist Rex. If you have both of these guys, you can even use some of Dino-Mist Rex's own abilities to get multiple attacks per turn or shuffle other cards from the hand or field back into the deck. Both are very useful, and when you're done with them, you can just stack them on top of each other for Cyber Dragon Nova, and then use it for Cyber Dragon Infinity. And the last method to summon it is actually something that I was considering back for the Ultimate Duelist series, but didn't quite feel a need to do because I didn't expect anybody else to have a Phantom Knight deck, and I didn't really expect anybody to be playing Burning Abyss at the time, though when Premium Gold comes out, there might be a few more people doing that. The side deck card in question is Xyz Universe. It pops up a lot every time a deck that Xyz summons a lot comes up in competition. Lets you target 2 face-up Xyz monsters on the field, send them both to the graveyard to summon an Xyz monster that has a rank that is equal to the combined rank of those monsters, or one less, and then Xyz Universe becomes the material on it. So for example, if you were playing a Phantom Knight Mirror match, you could catch 2 of your opponent's rank 3 Xyz monsters, for example a Leviair and a Breaksword, or a Leviair and a Dante, and turn them into your own Cyber Dragon Infinity straight away with just 1 card. So take away your opponent's 2 Xyz monsters, get a free Cyber Dragon Infinity. It's not a bad deal. And that's really not even all. For example, the Raid Raptors, the Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force from Wing Raiders, can take a Raid Raptor Force Strix and turn it into Cyber Dragon Infinity. There's actually just a ton of different ways to play this card. That, combined with its overwhelming power, continues to make it a favorite of duelists, and you've got another chance to get it for yourself, thanks to Breakers of Shadow Special Edition, which you can get right now, actually. For more, follow us on Facebook, Official Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, and Twitter, Yu-Gi-Oh! _TCG, and you're watching this video on the Official Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG channel. See you next time.